During an online class, my girlfriend forgot to mute her microphone. Over 200 people listened in as she talked with another guy, a younger student. The next day, she was discussing wedding plans with me, while the same guy was casually asking me about a birthday gift he wanted. The entire class had heard them perform, and not a single person let them know the mic was still on. They were all on my side. It started during our TA's big review session. The class had more than 200 students logged into the conference call. Even though we were all present, most weren't paying close attention. My best friend Ben and I were chatting in a private message. He asked me when Claire and I were planning to get married. "It should be soon," I typed back. "Probably after the semester ends." Claire and I had been dating since our freshman year. We were in our second year of graduate school, so it had been 6 years. Our parents had met. My mom and dad were a bit worried about Claire's family situation. They were from a small town, her mother didn't work, and her father did odd jobs. They had been clear about not being able to help their kids financially. But Claire herself was impressive. She had great grades and was also very beautiful. In front of my parents, she held my hand and promised she would be good to me for our whole lives. My dad eventually agreed, saying that where you come from isn't what matters, and he gave us his blessing. "End of the semester? I guess I need to get ready to be a godfather," Ben joked. As we were messaging, he suddenly pointed to his headphones. "I think Claire's mic is on," he said. "You should probably let her know." I quickly went to my laptop. Sure enough, underneath the TA's voice, I could hear Claire humming and the sound of running water. Our TA, Sarah, spoke up. "Claire, could you please mute your mic?" Claire didn't answer. She must have turned her phone's volume all the way down and put it aside. I picked up my own phone to call her, but it went straight to voicemail. I was about to dial again when a very distinct sound started playing. My hand stopped. Next to me, Ben's face went pale. Sarah's lecture stopped. The main class chat was silent, but Ben's phone started buzzing non-stop. A few of our friends from the class had started a private group chat. "What is happening?" "Claire has a lot of energy. In the middle of the day." "This is crazy. Aren't they getting married?" Someone tagged Ben. "Isn't Adam your friend? Maybe don't tell him. This is too much." The messages kept coming. More people were added, and the group had over 100 members in a few minutes. Ben just looked at me, sitting right there, completely stunned. "Wait, that's not Adam, is it?" In the audio feed, the suggestive noises stopped. A smooth male voice said, "So, who's better? Me or your boyfriend, Adam?" Then I heard Claire's voice, sounding affectionate. "You, of course." The group chat went quiet. No one expected that. For a moment, everyone just listened. Sarah, the TA, was a PhD student a few years older than us. She could have ended the meeting right there, but she didn't. I suppose she was as shocked as everyone else. My hands and feet felt cold, but my mind was working fast. I already recognized the guy's voice. It was Leo, a younger student I'd been friendly with. Now his voice was full of sarcasm. "You obviously like me more, so why are you still with him?" Claire laughed. "So? Are you going to help me get a job and an apartment in the city?" Leo didn't seem to mind. He laughed and said, "It's fine. We can just keep doing this after you're married. I'm okay with it." "Just be careful not to get caught," Leo said. "I'd hate for it to get awkward with Adam. He's been so good to me. I just complained a little about never owning a designer watch, and he promised to get me one for my birthday." Claire's voice was flat. "A fool like that is hard to find." "See? That's why you're so lucky, Claire," he replied. "You found your chance and saved yourself 20 years of work." They laughed together. The group chat was completely silent. I took a deep breath then another, trying to calm down. I whispered to Ben, "Add me to the chat." When my name appeared, everyone stopped typing. A moment later, one of my good friends spoke up. "Adam, are you okay?" "All the girls in our dorm think she's terrible," his girlfriend added. Her roommate typed, "We're definitely not talking to her when she gets back. She's an embarrassment." The insults in the chat got worse. I typed calmly, "Hey Sarah, could you please end the meeting now?" The TA was also in the chat. A few seconds later, the meeting was over. "Thanks everyone," I typed. "I hope you can all just pretend this never happened." My friends panicked. "Adam, you're not just going to let this go, are you?" "You're only engaged. It's bad, but getting married would be way worse. She won't change." I held down the voice message button and said in a low voice, "I'm not going to marry her, but I'm not breaking up with her right now. Everything she's gotten from me over the years, I'm going to make her give it all back, one piece at a time." 10 minutes before the class was scheduled to end, Claire picked up her phone and saw the meeting had concluded. She also saw my missed call and called me right back. I could hear the tension in her voice when I answered. "How come class ended early?" she asked. "And why did you call me during the lecture?" I tried to sound as normal as possible. "The TA wasn't feeling well, so she ended it early." "So why did you call?" "No reason. Just wanted to see if you wanted to get Korean barbecue later." I heard Claire's voice relax a bit, but she was still suspicious. "I have to take the written test for my internship today. How about tomorrow?" I grumbled a little, acting disappointed, and then hung up. That internship, by the way, was at a top investment firm, Miss Summit. Dad had been the one to pull strings to get it for her. After talking to me, Claire still wasn't sure, so she went to the TA. "Are you feeling better?" she asked, trying to find out if I had lied. But the TA and I had already coordinated. She replied perfectly, "Much better after a nap. If you have questions about the review, just message me." The TA forwarded me their chat. Claire should be convinced now. I held my phone and replied, "No, it's not that simple. Claire will be heading back to her dorm soon, and she'll definitely check the story with her 3 roommates." One of those roommates was my friend Ben's girlfriend. She secretly recorded a voice memo for me. Just as I thought, the moment Claire got back to the dorm, she started asking questions. "Hey, they didn't take attendance in the review session today, did they?" "Huh? No, I don't think so." Her 3 roommates, one putting on makeup, one watching a show, and one half asleep, all answered like they didn't care. The second Claire left, they all started talking. "What a terrible person. Let's not go shopping with her anymore. We don't want other guys thinking we're all like her." Everyone played their role perfectly. Claire was completely unaware, convinced that nothing unusual had happened that day. And even less suspicious than Claire was Leo. He invited me to his birthday party. The reason was simple. He had been admiring my designer watch, saying how much he wanted one and how he felt bad he couldn't afford it, until I finally gave in and promised to buy him one. His invitation was just his way of pressuring me to keep that promise. I accepted. Soon, Leo's birthday arrived. The kid was very social and had invited half our class to celebrate. The night before, I asked Claire, "I'm going to a birthday party for a younger student tomorrow. I can bring someone. Why don't you come with me?" Claire's expression changed for just a second, but she recovered quickly, acting casual. "It's your friend's party. Why would I go?" "You've met him. That guy from the basketball team, Leo. The really handsome one." Claire frowned, pretending to think. "He sounds vaguely familiar." She was an incredible actress. I sneered to myself. Claire still tried to say no, so I pretended to get annoyed. "What, You can't even do this one small favor for me? Claire hadn't had her interview at the investment firm yet. I had already told her that the executive in charge of interviews was a friend of my dad's and my godmother. At this critical moment, she couldn't afford to make me mad. Reluctantly, she agreed to go. On the day of the party, Claire arrived with me, and we walked up to Leo. The other students stood around, watching the three of us. They had probably never seen such a juicy, real-life drama. Leo looked at me with a big smile. Adam, you're here. Did you bring me a present? I smiled, then pushed Claire in front of him. Here you go. The entire room was stunned. The color drained from both Leo's and Claire's faces. I enjoyed their awkward expressions for a moment before smiling and patting Claire on the shoulder. What are you waiting for? The gift is in the bag I asked you to hold. Claire, who had just gone pale, let out a breath of relief. She quickly pulled the designer watch box from the bag and handed it to Leo. Adam talks about you all the time, Claire said, putting on the polite smile of a beautiful older student. Leo took the gift, his eyes shining. Thanks. Adam talks about you all the time, too. They must have thought they were great actors. Everyone around them looked down, unable to watch. Ben quietly pulled me aside. Did you really buy Leo a designer watch? I smirked. It's a fake, Ben sighed. Nobody here is genuinely celebrating his birthday. They're all just here to see what happens. He was right. It was a real-life campus drama starring Leo, with Claire as the secret co-star. Even though everyone was trying not to stare, Claire still noticed some of the looks. She came over to me. Have you noticed a lot of the guys are staring at me? Luckily, I was ready. I laughed. Well, what do you expect when you look this beautiful today? Claire had always been very confident in her looks. And why not? She had a rich boyfriend like me letting her use him, while also keeping a popular guy as a secret lover. Her ego must have been huge. As I expected, she liked my comment and linked her arm through mine with a grin. With a girlfriend this beautiful, you'd better be careful. If you don't treat her right, someone else might steal her away. I saw a guy nearby taking a drink spit it all out. What's wrong with you? The drink almost hit Claire. She wiped her shirt, annoyed. Sorry. The guy choked back a laugh and hurried to the bathroom. I just suddenly felt a little sick. Claire watched him go, then turned to me. Let me tell you, it's not just you guys who get competitive. Girls get jealous too. Right. All the guys in the world want you, and all the girls are jealous of you. While 1,000 sarcastic thoughts went through my head, I put on a gentle smile. You're not wrong. After calming Claire down, I stepped away and checked my phone. The group chat had hundreds of new messages. I had my driver bring the car. It's parked out front, wrote a wealthy friend. Ben, when is your cousin getting here? That was Sarah, the TA. She's at the door now, Ben replied. Okay, the operation is a go. The chat was immediately full of popcorn-eating emojis. As the party was ending, I made sure to leave early with Claire. When Leo and the others left the restaurant later, a Maserati almost hit him. An incredibly beautiful young woman got out of the car, looking like an actress. She apologized over and over and insisted on taking Leo to the hospital. He wasn't actually hurt, but he immediately got into the passenger seat. It's a shame you missed it, Ben told me later, shaking his head. The way he was acting like a gentleman and fawning over her, we all had to try not to get sick. I just smiled. This is only the first part. Of course, not everyone was such a good actor. Take the male vice president of Claire's student government chapter. Mid-semester, the list of outstanding members was released. Claire was shocked her name wasn't on it, and immediately went to confront the VP who supervised her. The VP was a friend of Sarah's and had already heard all about Claire's scandal. He had a short temper, so when Claire demanded to know why she wasn't on the list, he replied, "Outstanding members are supposed to be well-rounded. You don't qualify." Sarah saw the whole thing and frantically texted me, "OMG, I couldn't stop him. Do you think he blew our cover?" "Don't worry. How did Claire act when she left?" "She was furious." "Then we're fine," I said, confident. Sure enough, when Claire met me for dinner, the first thing she brought up was the VP. "He's getting back at me," Claire said, poking at her food. "He was trying to date me all last year. I turned him down and he's held a grudge." "By the way, Adam, aren't you good friends with the president of the student government? Could you maybe do something? Tell the president he's using his position for revenge. That award is a GPA booster, and I only made an enemy of the VP because of you." "Adam? Adam?" I had been lost in thought. When Claire's voice brought me back, I immediately put on a look of shared anger. "No problem." Just yesterday, the owner of a restaurant we often went to secretly told me that every time I paid and left, Claire would come back and ask for an itemized receipt. I hadn't understood why, but now that she mentioned the student government, it all made sense. Leo's drama would take time to unfold. I might as well deal with Claire's mess first. I immediately called the student government president. We were in the same elective class and were good friends. After hearing me out, she laughed. "I get it." The next day, at a meeting with all the student government members, the president announced that many officers had recently been misusing event funds and dedicated budgets, and that this behavior would be dealt with. Claire, looking pale, rushed to my dorm and grabbed me. "What did you tell the president?" I blinked, acting innocent. "Just that she should investigate the VP. I mean, the VP took away your award just because you rejected him. A guy who abuses his power like that must have done other shady things. He needs to be investigated." Claire's face went from red to white. A week later, Claire's history of faking expenses and using her position to take funds was completely exposed. She was kicked out of the student government and received a major demerit on her official school record. While the notice was being posted, the president and vice president were having drinks at my family's private bar. "Sorry about that, man," the VP said to me. "I did hit on her before, but I didn't know anyone in your department, and Claire always acted like she was single." I understood right away. All those pictures of us on her social media must have been posted only for certain friends to see. Once I found out she had a boyfriend, I stopped contacting her privately. I clapped him on the shoulder. "You have nothing to be sorry for." The president smiled as she shelled a peanut. "You two should toast to that." I raised my glass and clinked it with the VP's. "Here's to you for dodging a bullet." The VP grinned. "And here's to you getting rid of her soon." We both drank our beer. After setting his glass down, the VP suddenly remembered something. "Hey, man, you should be careful. After taking a hit this big, you think Claire will come after you?" "Don't worry, she won't dare," I said with a cold smile. "With that demerit on her record, finding a job is going to be incredibly difficult. The only person she can rely on now is me." As I predicted, Claire didn't blame me at all. In fact, she became completely obedient. After all, her internship at the top investment firm was in my hands. Since news of her expulsion from student government and the public reprimand had spread, Claire's reputation had dropped. The younger students who once admired her now wanted nothing to do with her. Claire was miserable and desperately needed some comfort from Leo. And Leo did come to find her. Claire assumed he was there to restart their romance, but the first thing he said was, "I need a Patek Philippe." Claire was stunned. But I, having secretly seen this chat log on her laptop, wasn't surprised. Everything was going according to my plan. Claire used to be a campus standout, but now Leo had a better option. He was getting serious with that beautiful rich girl in the Maserati, Maya. Claire was attractive, but Maya looked like she was from a TV show. She was rich, gorgeous, funny, thoughtful, and poised. Plus, she'd told Leo that even though she was young, she wanted to start a family soon. I could guess what was going through Leo's mind. If he could secure this heiress and marry her, his life would be set. He was willing to do anything. Since Leo was wearing the fake watch I gave him when they first met, Maya naturally assumed he came from a wealthy family. She kept telling him things like, "I only date men with good taste," and "My parents have always wanted me to marry someone from a similar background. Can you come to my house for dinner on Saturday? I told my parents I met a guy I really like, and they want to meet you." The chance to move up in society was right in front of him. Who wouldn't be excited? The first person Leo thought of was me. He begged me to lend him a suit and a watch. But I, already part of the plan, didn't agree. I told him I didn't like lending my things and refused, no matter how much he tried to persuade me. I could feel his resentment growing. But getting revenge on me could wait. Tomorrow was Saturday, and he needed to assemble a complete rich kid outfit today to secure his spot as a future son-in-law. He went to Claire. She was panicking. "You want me to take Adam's watch? He'll find out." Leo was past caring. "If you don't, I'll tell Adam everything about us right now. Let's see what happens to your job and your apartment then." Claire wanted to yell at him, but didn't dare. Finally, she choked out, "I'll give you the key to the apartment. You can get it yourself." Claire and I had rented an off-campus apartment together. After the online class incident, I'd been making excuses to avoid being physical with her and hadn't been to the apartment in a long time. Claire figured Leo could borrow it on Friday, return it on Sunday, and I'd never know. So on Friday night, Leo used the key Claire gave him and let himself into my walk-in closet. If I were Leo, I would have borrowed one suit at most, but Leo was much greedier. He took an Armani suit, a pair of Cartier cufflinks, and a Vacheron Constantin watch. Loaded with his stolen items, Leo casually walked out the door. Downstairs, holding all his bags, he ran right into me. I was with a few of my close friends. Ben spotted him immediately. "Hey, isn't that Leo? Is that a Vacheron Constantin on your wrist?" another friend added, playing his part. He looked at me dramatically. "Adam, don't you have one just like that? Hey, and that suit is yours, right? I was with you when you bought it." Leo stood frozen. I walked toward him. I knew Leo wasn't the brightest person, but I didn't know he was this foolish. Faced with me walking toward him, Leo's first instinct was to run. Well, that settled it. There might have been some room for doubt before, but that one move confirmed he was a thief. Ben and I exchanged a look. We were the number 1 and 2 runners on the university's track team. 30 seconds later, I had Leo pinned down while Ben dialed 911. The value of the items Leo stole was over $20,000. We had witnesses and physical evidence. The amount was large, and the act was intentional. At the police station, Leo was a mess, crying and insisting that he and Claire had an agreement. He was borrowing the items, not stealing them. I called Claire. When she arrived, I just looked at her silently. After 6 years together, I really wanted to know what choice she would make. When I saw her face twist into an expression of pure, shocked innocence, I felt a dull ache in my chest. This woman was even worse than I had imagined. She was willing to send Leo to jail to save herself. Sure enough, Claire swore that her key had been stolen, that she barely knew Leo, and that she had no idea what was going on. Leo went crazy. "Claire, are you even human?" He looked at me, his eyes red. "Adam, I'm telling you, Claire and I got together last year. She told me she was only with you for your money." Claire's face went white. She walked to my side, her lips trembling. "Adam, is this guy insane? I have no idea what he's talking about." A police officer asked Leo, "You claim Claire gave you the key. Do you have any proof?" "Yes, of course I do." Leo pulled out his phone and shakily opened his messaging app. Suddenly, he froze. He stared at Claire, trembling, and let out a scream as he tried to grab her. "You planned this all along. You told me to delete it." Two officers grabbed him. Leo collapsed, sobbing. I understood. I could just imagine how Claire had convinced him. "Since you're about to be with this rich girl, you should definitely delete our old chat history, just in case your new girlfriend ever sees it." From the moment Leo threatened her and she decided to give him the key, Claire had been planning her way out. This woman was more vicious than I could have imagined. Now she was looking at me with innocent eyes. "You're the only one I've ever loved." Fighting back the urge to be sick, I forced a smile. "I believe you. Claire, your payback is coming." I told the police I was willing to settle the matter privately, but back at school, Leo was still expelled. Apparently, Claire was the one who reported his trip to the police station to the university. She couldn't stand him staying on campus. He was a risk. Of course, Leo never saw his beautiful heiress again either. The Maserati belonged to my friend's family, and the heiress, Maya, was Ben's cousin, a star in the performing arts department. Leo was no saint, but I knew for sure that Claire was the worse of the two. Yet at that moment, Claire showed no signs of her wickedness. She treated me wonderfully, doing everything she could to be the world's best girlfriend. The day she passed her interview with the investment firm, Claire and I went out to celebrate. After a few drinks, she looked at me emotionally and said, "Adam, you're the only one who's ever been this good to me." I looked at her incredibly sincere expression, and for a split second I hesitated. But only for a second. My gut told me a person doesn't change their nature that easily. And Claire quickly proved my gut right. We were interning at the same company and were assigned to the same team. During orientation, we met our third teammate, a guy who had a relaxed confidence that comes from growing up with money. The other interns had already found out who he was. He was the big boss's only son, Sam. Claire had been sitting next to me, but when she saw the empty seat next to Sam, she excused herself to go to the restroom. On her way back, she sat down right next to him. I sneered to myself and kept taking notes. Claire looked down on Leo, but she was just as bad. Once the internship started, I focused completely on my work, often being the last one to leave. I pretended not to see all of Claire's subtle attempts to flirt with Sam. Sam, for his part, seemed interested in Claire. He started asking her if she wanted coffee in the afternoons. Less than 2 weeks later, Claire's roommate forwarded me a screenshot from their dorm group chat. I can't believe how forward guys are these days. Even the CEO's son is making moves. She was pretending to complain, but was clearly showing off. One of the roommates who couldn't stand her replied, "It's not like he's asked you out." Claire didn't hold back. "Someone's bitter. I mean, a grown man adds you on social media, texts you, and orders you food delivery. You think he's looking for a platonic friendship?" I almost laughed reading the chat. Sam asked Claire what kind of books she liked. She said she didn't read fluff and preferred publications on politics and economics. Sam asked if she'd seen the new blockbuster movie. She said she never watched commercial films and preferred indie movies. I felt a wave of shame for ever having liked such a pretentious woman. It was obvious that with the CEO's son showing interest, Claire's ambition, which had been bruised by Leo's gold digging, was back. She was feeling good about herself again. She started slacking off at work. When our manager criticized her, she'd get anxious, but she was too far behind. She hadn't learned the basics, and the spreadsheets looked like nonsense to her. She asked if I could help, but I immediately acted like a victim, claiming I couldn't even finish my own work. By the last month of the internship, Claire had clearly given up. She'd just show up, mainly to see Sam. Every time I saw them laughing in the break room, I'd sigh to myself. On Friday night, I changed out of my suit, put on a baseball cap and a mask, and went to a Japanese restaurant near the office. Sam and Claire were there having dinner. I sat at a table separated by a screen, sipped my drink, and listened. Claire was already getting agitated. "What? There's only one full-time offer for our team?" "Yeah, that's inside information from my dad. Don't tell anyone. But there are 3 interns in our group. If only one gets to stay, are you going to take the spot, Sam?" "Of course not. My dad just wanted me to get some experience, so the offer will either go to you or to Adam." Claire let out a sigh of relief. "That's good. Sam, could you talk to your dad for me?" "I can, but a full-time offer is a serious thing. It has to go through multiple approvals, and there's a huge gap between your work and Adam's." What do you mean?" "Haven't you noticed? While we're chatting, Adam is always working. I glanced at his screen. His research and analysis are almost done." "But Sam, your dad? If your work results were similar, then me begging my dad might help. But with a gap this big, even he can't force them to keep you." Claire was silent for a long time. Finally, she said, "I understand. Okay, Sam, you should still talk to your dad, and I'll figure out the rest." Claire left. After her footsteps faded, Sam pulled back the screen and sat across from me. He casually picked up my chopsticks, ate a piece of salmon, and mumbled, "So, how was my performance? Pretty good, right?" I gave him a thumbs up. "God, I'm exhausted," Sam complained, stuffing his face. "Dealing with her is so gross, and I had to pretend to like her." I rolled my eyes. "My original plan was much simpler. You're the one who heard we were interning at your dad's company and insisted on acting this out. Your need for drama is out of control." "What else was I supposed to do? Watch my best friend get played for 6 years and not step in?" Sam finished the sake in my cup. "So, you think Claire will take the bait?" I smiled. "Trust me, she absolutely will. She has huge ambitions. Seeing someone else get a better job is worse than death for her. But with that demerit on her record and her terrible reputation, any decent HR department will find out. What good company would hire her? This firm is her last chance. She used me to get the internship, and now she wants to use you to get the offer. She sees men as stepping stones. She's not going to fall at the final hurdle." On Saturday, Sam came over to my place for dinner. Halfway through, his phone rang. Sam answered it, and a few seconds later his eyes looked at me. I calmly put down my chopsticks. I knew my plan had worked. "If your work results were similar," Sam's words were Claire's last hope. The deadline was this Monday. There was no way she could produce months of my work in 2 days. That left only one option: make sure I lost my work too. All my research was saved on my computer. If I submitted it, the outcome was obvious. But if that data disappeared, it would create chaos, and that chaos would at least give Claire an opening. So, on Saturday, when no one was at the office, Claire snuck into the company and turned on my computer, and then she was immediately caught by security. Whose fault was it? Only Claire's, for being so focused on flirting with Sam during orientation that she didn't listen. If she had paid attention, she would have known 2 things. First, all the work we produce is company property. Second, every workstation is under surveillance. And the data she deleted? I had already backed it up. The company sued Claire for damages. The amount was huge for her, leaving her overwhelmed. She tried to ask Sam for help, but he told her he wanted nothing to do with someone who would destroy what they couldn't have, and blocked her. Maybe she was cornered. Maybe she was clinging to one last hope. After all was said and done, Claire somehow turned to me as her last resort. After all, I had acted so oblivious and weak for so long, blindly trusting her. She cried and told me she just wanted to look at the files on my computer and had accidentally hit delete. "We're about to get married. What's yours is mine, right? It doesn't matter if you get the job or I do. Why would I ever want to hurt you?" she pleaded, tears streaming down her face. "Adam, you have to believe me. Believe in my love for you. I have nothing left but you." I helped Claire up. "Your birthday is next week. No matter what, let's celebrate that first." Back when Claire and I were happy, we started a couple's account to post about our life. Since we were both students at a good university, and were both good-looking, we gained some fame as a power couple, and the account had a lot of followers. The account hadn't been updated in months, and our followers were asking for new content. When I announced I was going to live stream Claire's birthday party, they were all excited. Claire's birthday party was held at our rented apartment. All of our close friends were invited. I set up the camera for the live stream. Today is Claire's 25th birthday. First, happy birthday to her. On this special day, I have 3 gifts for Claire. Claire's face lit up. In the past, I had given her designer bags and expensive jewelry. She had even hinted she wanted a car this year. I turned on the projector. A flicker of disappointment crossed her eyes. 1 year for her birthday, I spent 2 weeks editing all our memories into a video. Many of our friends cried watching it, but Claire was cold to me for days, saying gifts like that were childish. I didn't understand why she didn't like it then. Now I finally understood. Because my heartfelt effort was worthless to her. For Claire, gifts had lost their meaning and were just another tool for her to get what she wanted from me. "That's fine, Claire. The gifts I have for you today will be ones you'll never forget." The projector turned on. The first birthday gift is called Chat History. I displayed the screenshots of Claire in her dorm chat, bragging about Sam liking her on the big screen. Of course, I covered the key names, but everyone could clearly see the arrogance in every word. "Adam, what are you doing?" Claire stared at me in shock. I ignored her and pressed the remote. And now for the second gift, called Company Surveillance. Don't worry. Each gift is more revealing than the last. The surveillance footage played. Everyone could see Claire walk up to the workstation with the nameplate, Adam, turn on the computer, enter the password, find my work file, and delete it. My voice was quiet. "You know, Claire, I actually gave you a way out. The computer password was your birthday. If you had felt even a little bad when you figured it out, even a moment of hesitation, and thought about our 6 years together, you wouldn't have done this. But you didn't. I bet you were just proud of how clever you were and relieved at how stupid I was. You didn't hesitate at all when you deleted my files." Claire tried to rush me. She knew that if this live stream continued, her reputation would be completely ruined. But I was prepared. I had already told everyone. 2 of the girls immediately grabbed her. "Claire, I have a question for you. In the 6 years we were together, how many times did you cheat on me?" The camera was pointed at us, and the viewer count was climbing. Claire gritted her teeth in a final attempt. "Never, Adam. I don't know why you're doing this. I already explained what happened. It was an accident. You don't have to be this cruel just because you hate me." I cut her off. "Fine. Then please accept my final gift." With a sense of relief and coldness, I pressed play. Online class recording. As the two girls held her, I saw a confused look on Claire's face when she heard those words. The progress bar moved. The TA's lecture played. Claire didn't understand why I was showing this. She had forgotten. In her life, there must have been countless times she had met other guys and gotten away with it. That online class was just one of many, long forgotten. The next second, the sound of running water began. The sound of a shower. The color drained from Claire's face. She started struggling, screaming, "Adam, you bastard! You knew all along! You've been playing me this whole time!" "Yes, I knew," I said, looking coldly at the woman whose face was twisted in anger. She was so ugly. Nothing like the gentle girl I first met. "And I have you to thank for it. Thank you for forgetting to mute your mic that day and letting me see what kind of person you really are." Claire screamed again and again, breaking free from the girls. She rushed at me and grabbed a candlestick, throwing it at me. I dodged. The candlestick slammed into the wall. Claire stood there, a strange smile on her face. "Adam, you've ruined my life. I will never forgive you. Never." As if possessed, she ripped off her jacket and ran outside. Worried she would do something crazy, our friends chased after her. I followed and watched as Claire ran out of the building. She turned back and screamed at me. "I'll never forgive you! You bastard! What goes around comes around. You just wait!" The next second, a car turning the corner hit her, sending her flying. The live stream caused a huge stir online that day. But in the age of the internet, news cycles are short. Soon, a new story got everyone's attention. After graduation, I focused on my work. I was promoted twice in 3 years, setting a new record at the company. My parents were thrilled, and my friends were proud. Later, I heard news about Leo. An acquaintance told me he was hanging around sketchy clubs and got his leg broken by an older woman's husband after he kept bothering her to buy him a sports car. The acquaintance showed me a picture. He was a year younger than me, but his lifestyle had left him looking worn out. Claire didn't die. She survived, but she needed a wheelchair. The accident might have affected her brain because her mental state became unstable. She would wheel herself around town, and if a guy looked at her twice, she would chase after him, asking if he was in love with her. When a friend told me all this, I just said calmly, "Whatever happens to her now has nothing to do with me." In this life, we will face disappointment, deception, and pain. Naturally, we want payback. There's nothing wrong with that. But what's more important than revenge is starting a new life. I still believe in love and have the courage to love. I've seen life for what it is, and I still love it. Ben's cousin, Maya, has been finding excuses to have dinner with me lately. The former star of the performing arts department has become a talented actress, but she always seems a bit shy around me. She asked me when the scars from a past relationship would heal, and if they ever did, if it would be okay to start a new one. I thought for a moment and told her seriously, "Love has never hurt me. What hurt me was a terrible person I met through love, but a bad person shouldn't be the reason we blame love itself." As for when it's okay to start a new relationship, I shrugged, "Whenever the time is right." Before I could finish, Maya shot up from her seat. "Wait right here." 10 minutes later, she rushed back, holding a huge bouquet of roses, her face as red as the flowers. "Well then, how about we start now?" I smiled. I still believe in the gentleness of the world, and I believe that though the road is long, we all eventually find our way home.